Hey, Haunted Hearts. I'm Brett, your haunted therapist. Today's episode sits right at the intersection of trauma, community, purpose, and the shadows that we carry. Today, I'm joined by the team behind Cross the Line Paranormal: James Cummings, Brandon Jarvis, and Air Force veteran and author David Veros. Cross the Line is a Georgia-based paranormal investigation team founded by James, built on collaboration, travel, and building authentic community in the field. And from that foundation, something deeper evolved. Together, they developed the Echoes Veterans Project, EVP, a mission rooted in the belief that everyone is haunted by something. David often says that phrase, everyone is haunted by something. And when I first heard it, it immediately resonated with me because as a trauma therapist, I speak in haunting metaphors all the time. I talk with clients about the ghosts of memory, the echoes of survival, and the parts of us that linger long after the danger has passed. So when I saw a project bringing veterans into haunted spaces, not to glorify fear, but to create purpose and belonging, I knew this was a conversation we needed to have. And just a disclaimer, this conversation isn't about replacing traditional therapy, and it's not about romanticizing trauma. It's about community, choice, and walking towards darkness together instead of alone. So let's
Love
begin.
it.
So, hey guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, oh my God, I'm so excited. I can't believe, I think it was David, you reached out to me on Instagram, right? Because you saw my reel about trauma and the paranormal and PTSD and all of that.
Yeah, actually, Eric sent it over to me from South Florida Paranormal. He sent it over. He was like, "Hey, this is actually pretty cool." And then I looked at your reel and I'm like, "This is exactly a cornerstone of what we're attempting to do." And so that's why I was like, I hit basically just typed it up and like, our team does this, and it's, again, to your point, not replacing traditional therapy. It's just an outlet of a form of therapy, right? So it's nothing replacing anything, and I think it's just adding to your catalog of potentials, right? So what can you do to give back to yourself, but then also find yourself?
Love that. I love that so much. And we'll get into all that. I just want to start at the beginning, building from Cross the Line Paranormal, right? Because isn't that the umbrella of how this whole thing started? So, James, I'd love to start with you. You founded Cross the Line Paranormal. Can you tell us just a little bit about how that began and what Cross the Line meant to you?
Well, actually, Cross the Line was founded by a buddy of mine, but I joined early on. And Brandon actually joined early on as well before me. Uh, his wife at the time wasn't thrilled with paranormal investigating, so he left. But it was founded in 2010, and I came on in 2013. And been doing it ever since in the group. And it's as far as the group, it's all about, it's not about who's better, who can investigate this or do that, or I think it's about friendship, honestly. It's about you're going with a group of strangers with similar personalities and similar interests into the darkness, and finding community in yourselves first while chasing the dead. But I took over the team actually in 2020 or 2021, and just kind of grew it from there because it was kind of stagnant with COVID and everything. And I, wanted it to grow. And, I met Brandon, reached back out, and he joined the team again and come back, and we were doing stuff together. And then we met David. I met David on TikTok. And
You're all
so
over social media, David, just making friendships. Look at you.
he had he touched my heart with his little sad video he had about being ghosted by paranormal
Here we
activity.
go.
He had a tear in his eye, and so I reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, we got an investigation coming up in a week or two, and you're welcome to join." And we had we had just had some discussions because he was a debunker, and there was several videos he would comment on, and I would comment back, and we would have conversation that way. But I never met the man, and so we kind of went from there. And he came to the Hamilton jail with us, and it just from there just took off. We were like brothers, the three of us, and it's been us. We've grown since then, as far as EVP, with more our team members that come across from the CLP side, because we try to keep it separate. The CLP side is more for just investigating large locations and home residential stuff and all that. And then the team members who still support the veterans, but just aren't really interested in the filming aspect and the things we're doing with that. So they just want to stay in the background. They still support us. We've brought a couple more members from that into the EVP project.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been a beautiful journey. It really has.
Yeah. It sounds like
And
a labor of love and passion for
yes,
you.
yes, I wouldn't trade it for anything, especially these
No.
two gentlemen.
Two gentlemen, actually. Okay. We'll see where we're at by the end of this.
I'm actually pretty happy he called me that and nothing else.
That's true. That's true. Mark that
He's
in your book.
glazing you up for something.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think the same thing for me too is that it's crazy how exploring the dead or exploring the afterlife has actually made my current life so much like more fulfilled and complete. And this whole thing has just been a passion project for me too, just getting caught up in it and feeling more alive than I have in a long time or maybe ever, since I was 8 probably, which
Yeah.
was only a few years ago, just a few short years ago. Yeah, it's wild.
Same.
So, can you talk a little bit about who you are outside of the paranormal world? Kind of go around and talk about who you are other than expert ghost hunters in the field, lovers of humanity and healers.
I'm not an
We're not
expert
experts.
to know me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've been in the veteran nonprofit space for over 10 years, almost 12 years come July. So, obviously service to others has always been something that's way on my shoulders constantly. And then obviously letting this kind of bleed into a personal aspect, like of my passion of ghost hunting and everything else. It's felt natural to introduce more people to it that are interested in it, especially people that you never thought would come forward saying that they absolutely love that stuff. I can't tell you how many times people I work with that are like, oh my God, I absolutely love that stuff. And, then they automatically start opening up because it's a topic of like people looking at you a little weird. It's like, all right, you're going into those locations and, as some people, bad juju or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I've just veterans and just really community in general has been a pretty much a staple in my life.
Cool. Brandon?
That's all he's going to say.
Awesome.
His word of the day. His word of the day.
We're losing him.
Yeah. Well, he's out there on the road, pulled
you're
over
talking
on the
about my
side of the
internet.
road.
What is it? If y'all can, crap, my phone. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm stuck in a storm, and all I'm getting is in and out of everything y'all saying.
If we lose you, just make sure to let somebody know you're okay, because that would not be something I'd want to promote on my podcast. Brandon blew away the last known location on the Haunted Therapist podcast.
It just won't be.
I don't know if the storm is infecting my signal right now, but
Yeah, it is, dude. If you can hear us.
I feel like I can hear rain.
Dude, yeah, you can. I can hear it too.
I love that sound.
Hey, Brandon, dude, log off. Brandon, log off, dude. Stay safe.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, that was Brandon Jarvis joining us momentarily. And I'll just have to do part 2. We'll just have to have part 2. Who knows where he'll be then? He's like a storm reporter, like a live, war reporter. He's like a war reporter out there on the streets. He should have gone out
tornadoes.
I wouldn't put it past him to actually do that. That's the sad thing,
Well, he drives a Ford. I don't think he'd go very far.
Oh my God. Still funny. Still funny.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get to know him later at a later date.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just jump back in. So at what point did Cross the Line Paranormal begin to feel like it could become something more than just investigation, just going on ghost hunts or paranormal investigations? At what point did it start to become more of like a community outreach veterans project?
After Booze on the Battleship last year.
Yeah. So there's a couple of incidents where I noticed that there were already a lot of veterans within this community. So we went to Hauntlanta. My daughter and we went to Hauntlanta and met a few veterans there. I met 2 Vietnam veterans and 2 Iraq veterans. And then we went to Booze on the Battleship. And then I met that were not your typical, and I could say in quotations, para-celebs that were also veterans as well at Booze on the Battleship. I met a couple of family support members. Their husbands and wives were in the military. And I just knew how ingrained from Booze on the Battleship driving back, just how much ingrained the veteran community is already in this space. So, and then James and I had the conversation while Brandon was sleeping. And then immediately, and like something just popped into my head about Echo's Veteran Project or EVP. And then James, I was like, dude,
Right.
get on YouTube and see if this is used or anything. And he's like, nope. I was like, all right, we're gonna coin it right now. And I
Amazing.
mean, it was just off the cuff. It wasn't. I mean, like I'll kind of supersede back. Like my wife told me that I needed to find non-veteran friends, and I did. Because it's like, and typically, and you know this just as well as anything about how when veterans get together, we are very comfortable with one another. We can open up, we can do all of that, but yet that's all we really talk about. Because whenever you meet a veteran, it's like, oh, okay, what was your MOS? What was your rank? What was this, right? So it was almost like they were putting you into a category of acceptance. Whereas I met James and Brandon, and then it was, you're in the military? That's cool. How long you been doing ghost hunting? And it wasn't anything about to do with the military. And it was like interesting enough to where it's like I felt comfortable over a period of time of like sharing some of the experiences from the military with them. But it was more so like finding that brotherly connection that I thought was only in veterans when I was completely wrong. Completely wrong.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, it is important to reach out of like your normal, comfortable social groups for anyone.
I often say to James, it's like I have more fun hunting the dead than I ever did the living, you know? So it was just like that whole caveat to
Well, sure.
the
It
military.
removes any risk of moral injury because
Right.
they're already dead.
Yep.
You can remove that piece from your conscience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So from your perspective as a veteran, but also as a member of this team, what does your signature line, everyone is haunted by something, what does that mean to you? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
It doesn't matter your background. You can be non-veteran, veteran, you're gonna have some trauma in your life, you know, and how you actually react to that trauma is going to be the basis of it, right? Are you gonna sit with it and just accept it and constantly talk about it, or are you gonna move forward and actually look to have a better life? And most people they love their problems. Let's just face it, they absolutely love it because it becomes an identity, you know, and whereas yeah, I don't want, don't get me wrong. Like I am extremely proud of being a veteran. I'm extremely proud, but that's, to be honest with you, that's not the only thing I want to be remembered for, right? I want to be remembered for being a good father, being a good, you know, friend, brother, son. That's the type of things. That too.
You're a really good podcast host. I mean, guest.
Well, I appreciate that, right? So I want
Yeah.
that and
Thumbs up.
epitaph
5
of life,
stars.
right?
Highly
Um,
recommend.
but again, I go back to it. It's like, you know, I have I've found myself in some of the darkest places. And so veterans can also do that. I mean, if you have to go to some of the deep and darkest places you've ever been in order to re-experience the trauma constantly and or build from there. Some just sit. They just don't want to move forward. They don't want to, they love the fact that this has become their identity rather than it just being something else. Because how often do you hear the very first sentence is, "Oh, I'm 100% combat veteran,"
Mm,
not "My name is David and I work in the VSO space," right? So it becomes an identity that we're not really wanting it to let go of. Now, if there was a rank structure in the paranormal field, I would be a staff sergeant, right? So I'm just kidding. I won't do that at all. But no, I think again, it goes back to what are you willing? And James and I have had this discussion numerous times about when we go on these investigations, we believe that you're actually letting go of something. Like the spirits are actually trying to help you let go of something, and that's why they may go after certain people in your team very strongly. Like Brandon, is one of those that feels everything in a location.
hmm
But yet he also holds on to his own personal trauma, and maybe they're trying to help him let go. Penhurst for me, that was mine. They just did not want to leave me alone that night, you know? So, but again, it was just one of those things.
Interesting.
I believe it's just something that they're trying to let go.
Almost like you can leave it there, like you would if you went to church or something, leave your troubles there. If you go to a haunted location, leave your own ghosts with the ghosts, kinda like a similar thing?
Almost.
Interesting, I never looked at it like that. I love that actually.
Yeah. Well, because I think too, it's like if you really look at where we go, and you'll realize your problems are still an issue. They're still a problem, but they're not as serious as you may think. And because how many EVPs have we heard? Please help me. Right? They're still dealing with whatever it is in the afterlife that we deal with now. So your problems are never really going to go away until you face them, and this is what that is, right? You're going to face a fear, or you're going to explore an interest, which is still a fear to a point.
Mhm.
Every veteran we've taken is like, man, I'm stoked. I'm a little nervous, but I'm stoked, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we believe that you may let something go every time you do this.
Yeah, just by kind of facing your own ghosts in the process. Well, it's interesting too because I say that I help people heal from haunts and the ghosts of traumas past. Well, kind of like the way trauma is stored in the brain is like a residual haunting. Like if you think of residual, not intelligent hauntings, but the same loop that just keeps going and over is kind of like the way that I see unhealed trauma. It just keeps
Hmm.
looping around and around, and you never know when that ghost is going to pop up in your nervous system and completely take over. So by doing different forms of trauma therapy, even just talking or doing, anything from talking to doing like EMDR or CPT, things they do at the VA. Not that you have to be a veteran to have trauma, like you said. But those are really good interventions for anyone. It turns the residual haunting into almost like an intelligent haunting, because now we can start naming things and we can start saying what that event made us believe about ourselves. What would you prefer to believe about yourself? Where do you feel that in your body? All of those things. So it turns it into an intelligent haunting. And then you can finally almost like exercise it, I guess, if you want to throw in another kind of paranormal term, where it's not taking over your system anymore. It's not that you forgot, like you still remember the things that happened, but it's not hijacking your nervous system anymore.
Right. Percent. I mean, James had this really good analogy with it, especially like just ghost hunting in general. It's almost like fishing, man, because again, you're trying to use different tools and lure the ghosts in to use. And, so I love the analogy that he uses
That's
with
a
that.
great analogy.
Yeah.
Especially because you
Well,
do
that's
just be sitting there for a
yeah.
while sometimes. Them fish ain't biting.
No. Well, and that's something back to the letting go that I've seen. I'm obviously not a veteran at all. A lot of family members of mine are veterans, but watching like when we do the pre-interview and then the post-interview after, and a lot of these veterans, that we've brought, they got their own TikTok channels and they go into their lives and watch their complaints, and they're just venting all the time, venting. So, and then watching their beginning interview, their emotions and their walls that are up. And then after we do the night of investigating with them, and then their post interview after, their whole attitudes change. All their problems are gone for that moment. The whole night they didn't think about anything they've been dealing with outside of here. That they were laughing, cutting jokes, everything is just like that whole wall of shields come down. It's a beautiful thing. I never got an emotional side far as for me for that until I started experiencing it firsthand with them and just watching, and each and every one, male or female, same way. And it's just like back to the same, just that letting go of whatever you're being haunted by, even if that moment, it's amazing to watch.
So there's a structure, it sounds like, where you do a pre-interview and then you do the investigation and then you do a post-interview.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So
really
the
good.
pre-interview is more so the pre-interview is we don't ask anything evasive. Like, I mean,
Mm,
you just keep it simple. We ask you your name, what branch of service, and what led you to want to do this. That's it. And then the post interview, depending on how the night goes, we're going to structure those questions around that post interview. But mainly, it's going to be as of like, did you even think about any issue outside of this prior to?
mm.
And you'll see them just like from the very get go, it's very ominous. Like, I did this because this is going on. And then all of a sudden, towards the end, they're like, when are we doing this again? Why are we not doing this like every weekend? Every single veteran that we have interviewed has said the exact same thing. They want to go back out with us. They want to have a good time, create that community of connection, a shared experience, right?
Shared
So
experience. Yep.
if all three of us, yes, we're going to experience a location all three different ways, but if we all go to the same location, it was a shared experience. And then we always lean back on that shared experience, much like the military.
There it is. So do you think that it's the shared experience and also the idea that when you're in it, you're kind of just focusing on that? You're not thinking about your problems. Like it's very it's almost like a Zen activity, right? Where
Hmm.
you're just like that singular, you narrow your scope, if you will,
Yeah.
to
Oh,
be
well,
able
if
to
you
just,
think about it, if you have to heal your mind, body, and right, so where are we going to find these souls? Exactly that, at those locations. So I think that souls could, just like veterans, just like anything, just like people, I think souls can help heal souls. That's why we have those people that are attached or around us, and like your angel, right? Your your
Spirit
God,
guide.
what's the word? Yeah, spirit guide, right? I think again, it's just one of those things. It's so many people are so attached to the paranormal and as well as just the space in general that they don't realize that it's actually helping them get away. It's an escape. It's like whenever I'm around James and Brandon and we're investigating, that's my therapy.
Yeah.
That is literally mine. This because like I like to hunt as well. I like to fish, but I live in Florida and it's either so god awful hot you can't get out, or the people are after you. Except for one of the two. But
Damn.
yeah, it's bad here.
Maybe
But
that's a
nevertheless,
different episode, but
very much so. But no, I think when I'm with those boys, it's different. It's like we razz on each other just as hard as if they were in the military too.
yeah,
I mean, we joke,
that camaraderie.
sometimes pushing limits, like we're like, oh shit, maybe we need to back up a little bit, just like we did in the military, and
Yeah. Well,
but
so you
it's
guys are part of the healing, right? For the people that sign up and go on these tours with you, like you guys for sure are part of the personality of your spirits are part of
yeah,
what draws people back for sure. I mean, I can see it just in this short time that we've been together, the camaraderie and the bond and the happiness and the laughter and the joking and all of that.
oh yeah, this is very
Very-
toned down. You should just see the car rides, the conversations, like one-offs that we have in our chats. Like we'll never share those chats, but nevertheless, like we just absolutely go off on one another. But then also too, when somebody's going through something, we're there for them. It's like I know that I can call either one of these two, and they'll be like, "Yeah, dude, I'm there. Give me an hour or two. I'm far away from you, but I'll be there."
Wow.
Same, likewise.
Wow.
So, and that's
Awesome.
that's where I think the community aspect comes in, right? Because if these veterans don't have a community
Which so
and
many of
these
them don't
individuals,
because they
right?
rebuke it almost
Hmm.
in a sense, like
Yeah, they
and
really do.
an avoidance.
I guess to David's point too, like he says, wife said, find non-veteran friends. That's also a challenge too, because not every civilian can take a veteran's personality. You got that dark humor and
It
that,
takes a
just the
special
rat.
type.
Yes,
Yeah,
you got to be because there's times, one of our paranormal teams that we're friends with, we're cutting jokes, doing our stuff, and the looks they give, they're like,
Yeah.
"Are y'all okay?"
but
And
then there's all of us back there laughing. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because it's just like,
yeah.
Yes.
it's just
Yeah,
yeah,
it fits
Yeah,
in good
some
into the
people don't
morbid
understand that.
world.
Yeah, some people don't understand that, and I guess so.
Yeah.
You couldn't just go out and just find any non-civilian and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna jump on your team and hang out," because it's not going to work. You got to find that fit and meshing personalities and dark humor and however it's not easy, but it is possible.
That's interesting. I never really thought about that, but that is true too, because it's not just like, the veterans that I know, it's like, well, God forbid they tell a story, like a war story. Then people are like, clutching their pearls and like, what are you talking about? Are you serious? Because no, that doesn't get exposed. It doesn't get shown all the horrors that have gone on over there or wherever there is. So, then they feel more like shame because they feel like I can't even talk about what I did to survive. Okay, like
Me and
I must
David
be
talked
the
about
most
that one time.
shameful person ever. And that's so bad for mental health and healing to carry around that shame. Like there's this amazing book by Tim O'Brien called The Things They Carried.
and yeah, the
About
things I carried,
Oh my
very
God, that
good.
book is so good. And he talks about that, how you have to be able to talk about it. The things that they carried literally, and just not just your pack and all that, but metaphorically the ghosts that you might even still carry. So to know that that's also true in like your humor too. I never real but you're right, it takes a special kind of crazy to hang out with y'all.
Yeah, because like I told James one war story, and he just goes, "Damn." That was it. And then he was like, "You want Taco Bell?" Or you know what I mean? So it was just but no, I think again, it's like I outside of the close friends and buddies and brothers and sisters that I served with, James and Brandon and Bree to a point. Bree's another teammate. She knows a little bit about what it's like to be a veteran and what they're exposed to, especially in Iraq or Afghanistan. Like my wife, though, I mean, she knows pretty much every single thing, because she was there from day one of therapy to everything, so she's been my rock for many, many years. And but it is very difficult. It is very difficult to have a conversation about, well, just to your point, what it took to survive. Things that you had to morally do that you may be against, but you were putting, yes, you did you did sign up for it. But the moral injuries is something we never signed up.
Right.
It wasn't in
How
the
could you?
contract, right?
Right. And not a lot of good parting gifts,
No,
right? It's just like, okay, thanks so much. Here's the keys to your normal life now. Go have fun adjusting. Right? Like they don't do a very good job on the way out, I don't think. It might be getting better, I don't know.
it
From
is
what
getting better now, meaning the support for veteran service organizations as well as the DoD understanding that there's an issue. Because I mean, if we're allowed to talk about suicide on this platform, correct? Okay.
Mhm.
Anyway, so what we've seen is I mean,
Going
yes,
to.
yeah, yeah, but both male and female veterans, they experience suicide, ideations, thoughts, whatever you want to call them. They experience them every single day. Every single person, no matter who you are, you always have initially a thought of not being here and it being okay. Doesn't matter who you are. You could be going through something. You're like, man, you know what? If I don't wake up tomorrow, I'll be all right. That's just how people are. Because again, you're forced with great resistance, but yet the resistance or the actions to take on resistance supersede your ability at the time. So like, I just don't have the strength for this, or I don't have this. I'm not in the right mentality. What this has actually taught many different veterans is that it's okay to have those feelings. It is okay to feel this way. It is okay to say, I'm not okay right now, but I will be eventually. I always have a saying like, try tomorrow. It may not be pretty, but you'll still be here, right? So try tomorrow. And this type of outlet lets veterans understand that there is a tomorrow. Because one, the best part about this is you start ghost hunting at maybe 6 or 7 o'clock at night, and you don't end until 2 or 3 in the morning. So guess what? Try tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Tricky. Letting exposing some of your secrets there.
Hey, only
A
for you.
little sleight of hand. So I
Well, I'm
oh,
sorry.
go ahead. No, you go.
I was to his thing about the 2 a.m. is funny to hear the comments because we usually have a group chat with the veterans before we go on investigation to kind of keep them updated with whatever info wise. But they talk about how drained they are the next day or two. It's still like they've let go for that time period, but they feel so drained. Their energy's drained, not in a bad way, just like everything
Hungover.
they were carrying, all that's it's just like a rest. They feel like they just need to rest. We call it a paranormal hangover, but
That's what we call it too. We
yeah.
call it a paranormal hangover. We're like, well, we're going to be hungover this whole day, so might as well not
Yep.
schedule anything. That's interesting too, that it could be also from unloading some of the ghosts that they carry or some of their trauma by doing it. Because to speak to that book, The Things They Carried, he made this really good point in there that, if you get shot, you're not really, if you're in combat, you're not feeling it until
You feel it.
later. And that's when it hits, when you're not in battle anymore, when the bullet gets taken out even. That's when it starts to, that like residual pain and trauma is circulating you. So I wonder if that's part of what people feel too the next day, where it's just like, shoot, I got shot. And
Yeah.
now I can feel feelings again. And I need to just like tone it down and rest and not move around a lot so that I can continue to let this energy move through my system.
You can't really get us to stop and rest. Like, no, don't stop, keep going, right? And then when I go on a ghost hunt, I sleep and I feel like
He tries to
absolutely
sleep.
fucking rested. Tries to sleep unless I'm sleeping in the same room as James and Brandon. All right, because they like to
Oh, you guys sleep
orchestrate.
there?
What's that?
You sleep at locations? Like you do overnights
Sometimes,
and actually sleep?
just depending on if they allow it. But we'll either get an Airbnb or a hotel.
Yeah.
And like they're singing the Budweiser songs to each other, Budweiser, just in snoring. But again, like when I'm actually
I
at
don't
home in
snore.
my
I don't know what
bed
it's talking
after a
about.
ghost hunt, yeah, he does. I've got video. But nevertheless, I actually sleep, and it's the first time where I can actually feel like I restful sleep. I'll wake up like, oh man, what was that? Because again, I do feel like something was just taken away from me. Like I don't know what it was, but it was something I was holding on to. Maybe it may have been the stress of the week, and then I was able to get out there with James, Brandon, and the team, and then the stress went away, and that was what was holding me down. Or it was just something like an anniversary date, or of something that happened, and I'm not real because like the psyche is weird because like I got hit in November 7th of 2007. I'm sorry, November 7th, 2007, just outside of Bucha, Iraq. And then, but not realizing it's 10 days before my birthday, but then not realizing that I'm going through these episodes mentally. It's just like a repeating clock, right? It's just going through it. It's like, man, not a good time right now. And it's just one of those things that happens. But then obviously if I'm not with them, I don't think of those. I don't think of when I'm,
Mm.
about the military unless, we're doing EVP. And then I kind of have to put myself back into that mind frame and talk about, even throughout the ghost hunt itself, like all of a sudden these conversations pop up about where they served, what they did, or, or even throughout sometimes the last one we did, none of them said anything about where they served or what they did. They were just so ecstatic to be there,
Nice. That's a relief too,
and
probably.
we were just
Yeah.
cracking jokes on each other and other than on a chat, we never met either one of them gentlemen, and they'd come in our TikTok lives that we have every Thursday. But yeah, we crack and joke, razzing on each other already, as if brothers, and we never even met each other. But yeah, not once talking about prior service really or anything like that,
Mm.
So that's it. Just takes them out of that mindset. It really helps them. So just quick, that's the face of somebody who didn't sleep for a couple days on our last.
Yeah.
Blame it on
I love
snoring.
it.
It
I
was
love
the
it.
snoring. You're talking about maybe 5 hours in 3 days.
Well, you guys can't sleep anyways.
No,
You veterans, you can't.
not really.
I mean, not in a normal way, certainly.
Well, I'll say this. If I'm not in the bed with my wife, I don't sleep that well. Like she is like if I know
Grounded.
she's there, I'm definitely I'm a little bit better. But also, which is weird, like my wife is the only one that can touch me to wake me up. Still to this day. She's one of the only ones that can do that without me like kicking her or anything.
Jumping.
I've even told
The
James and
chances
Brandon,
are
like,
never zero.
I've told them, like, do not touch me to wake me up. Like, say
Yeah.
it from the door, say it
Yeah.
from afar,
Like a
because
blowhorn or something.
yeah,
Well, and it's
sometimes I'll just wake
interesting
up
But
normal.
we've never had to. He's always up before us. Coffee
You know why?
made, everything.
Yeah, that's true too. Well, and it doesn't even have to be like some of us, as we were talking before we recorded, like being raised by a veteran too. Like I'm pretty sure that I have some secondary traumatization from Vietnam, like, or, some vicarious trauma. It's like even like a loud noise will happen and I'm the one, like my husband doesn't even blink, which you would think I would have thought that'd be opposite. But I'm like, God forbid a balloon pops in my face. No, like you don't want to be around for that. That's some craziness. So, it is interesting. And like, I wonder if you guys include or expand your reach a little bit to people who, like the sons and daughters of veterans as well. And I'm sure that you do. You're very inclusive, but it might be an interesting add-on.
Yeah,
I don't know if David wants to put on it or I can talk about our
go ahead.
one episode. Okay. So we just filmed, it's a 2-part series, but the first part is at Central State Hospital, which is we got special permission, so don't go there. It's a night in jail and a $10,000 fine if you're caught. So, but it's Milledgeville in Central Georgia. It was one of the largest sane asylums in the country at one time. But we were granted special access because of EVP. So the young lady there, just because she is big into mental health as well, advocacy. And but we took a widow. Her husband was a Marine, and he departed this earth back in 2024. And we took her, and she shared a little bit of her stuff, and what she was looking to get out of it, and then through the whole night, and it was just, and then like I said, the post interview, it was great. So yeah, we're trying to expand to not just specifically yes veterans, because they're the soul of it and the most affected, but we are also expanding out at the other people in their lives that have been affected also.
Perfect. Yeah, the peripherals. Us peripheral. I love it.
Well, because both of us, we take our daughters ghost hunting. It's a way to connect.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
My kid makes fun of me. He roasts me. Are you serious?
Yeah, my
Come on.
daughter loves to go with us, and she loves taking pictures of just old buildings. Like she'll ghost hunt too, but she just loves the photography of old buildings. And I've taken her. She went to Waverly with James and Lola, with me, and she's been to other places, Brushy State, things like that, just taking photos. It's a way that I can connect with her. Video games and stuff are the way I can kind of connect with my son. But that's all we're really wanting to do is give our families our passions too. Obviously, go do your own, but this is what we find as an outlet for us.
Well, it's so fun too. It's exciting. It's adventure. It's travel. It's so many different things.
Oh yeah.
Like we haven't
Yes, I've
once
been-
talked
I've been-
about ghosts, right?
I've been taking my daughter since she was 7. but she also has abilities. Not I'm not gonna say psychic. She's sensitive. She can see or pick up on things that normally people can't. And but she loves it. She loves doing it. And we actually went out last night. Unfortunately, David wasn't able to make it, but we were talking about just how much fun we had. It's like daddy-daughter time. Yeah, we're in an abandoned old jail or an abandoned old farmhouse, but it's still that time together, the memories that are making that when one day I'm no longer here, she'll still, have. And then, she'll have my equipment to reach out to me. Daddy, I need $20. Can you tell me an EVP?
Like that, right?
I love
Yeah,
it.
it gives them some belief in the afterlife too that, they'll be able to live without us someday.
That's that's the overall arching goal, right? So
Totally.
that's,
That's the end goal.
yeah,
Well, I mean, that's the end. I don't know if it's the end goal, but that's where we're all headed.
right. Whether we like it or not.
So, okay. Do you want to talk about your book at all? Quiet After the War? Do you want to get
I
into
mean, we
that?
can talk a little bit about it because I mean, it just really depends on the phrasing of the questions or what you want to talk about it for the book. But basically, it was a book that I worked on for nearly a year. It's very short, to the point, but it talks about being in stillness. And there's another one that's going to be coming out for Booze on the Battleship that I'm going to be having printed, but it's also my take on veterans in the paranormal community and the outlet that it brings. So, but the book itself is more so understanding that stillness is key. You will find yourself in the stillness. And there was a great mentor, and I love this saying that he had set up at Big Fish Foundation. But Tosh, I don't know if you ever heard him, but Big Fish Foundation in Colorado, he has a saying that says, are you who you say you are, and do you believe in who you say you are? Like, how many times do you say it? I am this, I am that, I am this, but do you believe it? So I love it because that was like a pivotal switch. And he talked a lot about being in stillness, but this is what ghost hunting is. If you honestly think about it, yes, it's the jokes, it's the community connection, camaraderie. But when you're going in there and you sit like, hey, everybody go quiet. Do you know how hard it is for people to go quiet?
Yes. Yes, I do.
So,
As a therapist, that
yep.
is one of the hardest things for people to sit. Like, they literally had to teach us that in school, something called therapeutic silence. Because as a therapist, a lot of therapists like rush into the silence and try to fill it or try to manage somebody's feelings for them or something, right? When the
Yeah.
best thing that you can do is just zip it and allow yourself, even if it's, especially if it's uncomfortable. That uncomfortability has so much energy in it and ability to change and heal just in the silence. So you're absolutely right. I love that. I love all the
Yeah.
overlap.
Well, the reason I pay attention to Brandon so much, and I know that he'll hopefully not, razz on me for this, but whenever he starts to speak about what goes on in his life, we all pretty much stop and listen. It's because that man doesn't open up at all. So, like, whenever he does
I mean,
actually
he's not
open
even
up,
here. That's how much he
yeah,
doesn't open. He left.
right. But I mean, you have to understand, a man that's so shielded, that's him. So whenever he does open up, we stop. Like, we'll listen to him. But typically what comes out of his mouth is a joke or a razz or, something that we can't understand. That's in what I call Madonese, because it's Madison, Florida educational system. I'm just messing Madison, Florida. But no, I mean, he's a gentle giant. And so whenever he does open up, we listen because he doesn't do it often, so allowing the space for stillness and not just a response.
And that's how you ghost hunt too. I mean, you hunt sometimes, like it's sometimes it's active and sometimes it's passive, I guess. Sometimes it's offensive and sometimes it's defensive, right? Depending on how you're going about it, what equipment you're using.
100.
I've started finding, I did this even last night, I've started finding healing to me, I guess, going in like alone. And usually don't nearly push alone because for safety reasons. But even like last night, we were all the old farmhouse. Everybody was outside. We had equipment set up and everybody's watching from the windows. Well, nothing was happening. So I was like, well, let me go inside by myself and see if I can stir anything up. So I'm walking through this old 2-story farmhouse with no flashlight, just in the darkness, trying to see if I can get interaction, and just having that mindset, not Hollywood or anything like that, but just you're alone in this building, not knowing what could happen, what could come up face you in the darkness, and it's almost a peaceful high, I guess you could say. Find some peace in it, but it's also a high because you have that adrenaline rush of what could happen, And I'm sorry earlier, David, for laughing when you said, about your short book, but I just
Don't.
thought that was ironic.
Don't. You're like like I said, 3/4 of an inch. That's it. That's it. That's the only. You're not even that much taller than me, bro. You're not.
When you put,
It's a
I
running
never
joke.
thought of it as a short book like that, but when you said a short book, I just thought about how short. You can see the little leprechaun behind him on the shelf. I got him over there on his little
Grab that.
mantle.
Let's see it. Bring him out.
I was teasing him as a garden gnome, but then
Cute.
switched to leprechaun. Yeah, this guy's a little walking
I use it as a
freedom stick.
paperweight.
Is he haunted? Do you have any haunted
No.
objects?
No. I found it at an antique store and was like, this would be
Oh, it's
perfect.
gotta be haunted.
Yeah. If it is, it's going back to James's house. I'm just
I do have some objects in my house that are haunted.
Do you
And
really? How
I
do you
collect
know
them.
that the object is haunted?
yeah.
Like, how
Well,
do you know that?
it shows up.
Mostly I just use my daughter. She picks up on it. Like we'll go antique stores and stuff and find something, hey, do you feel anything with this? And it'd be yes or no. And that's where I bought two things off of Etsy shop, one particular lady, and they both have wound up being accurate and have had experiences with it. But most things I've just collected over the years, found it, locations and stuff like that. And so just kind of went from there. And but yeah, we had experiences. Brandon and David both have stayed here. They've had experiences. And so we putting out equipment, and like my daughter used to, she'd come over and investigate and all that, and stuff would happen around them objects. So
My dad goes to Florida every winter, and I lived in Sarasota, like I said, for a few years, so I have friends down there. So how fun
Yeah.
would that be?
Yeah, I'll gladly. I mean, I'm in St. Augustine, so
Which is haunted, right?
yeah.
AF, I hear.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, very much so. Because like I even on the weekends, anything that we can do to get extra money to do this, like I actually am a paranormal investigator with Ghost Augustine, and I run paranormal investigations on the weekends just to help with funding this. So
I bought something from them. I don't remember which item I bought from them, but actually I bought two things from them. I don't remember what it was. I think it was a REM pod and something else.
yeah, it's decent. They just came out with the new the REM 3. It's a rechargeable one instead of
Yeah.
a 9-volt. So I got a couple of those, literally right here. So what I love it comes with a tripod stand, and then the antenna actually folds down now. So
Yeah, mine is janky compared to that. Look at that
But yeah.
thing. That thing's like,
and it's light. It is so light.
right,
I
because
love
it
it.
doesn't have that big battery weighing it down.
Yep.
Stupid thing.
Yeah.
Before I forget, I wanted to ask, have you ever thought about hanging flyers up at the VA? I feel like whenever I go there, there's like community flyers of things to do. Like that might be interesting. Hang up EVP. I mean, I've seen goat yoga up there. I'm pretty sure you could hang up
Yeah.
a damn like paranormal investigation flyer.
Well, I think because we're only going into the second season of this. This is still a new concept. Because again, we just started investigating together like maybe late 2023, I think that was. Yeah. So, I mean, this is fairly still new, but, I found brotherhood fairly quickly within this community because, like James said, when we met at Old Hamilton County Jail in Jasper, Florida, it immediately clicked. There wasn't this whole like weird two to three investigations of getting to know each other. It was like immediate, and I just knew right then and there.
As soon as, because I showed up late, we were razzing as soon as I got there.
Yeah. Well, because it was funny, like the very first time we go out to eat, it's me, James, and Brandon, and we go to, was it Zaxby's or some kind of chicken place? I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, we pull up there, and they have like a 3 or 5 piece meal, right? And I asked James, I was like, "What do you want?" And he goes, "Oh, just give me a 3-piece." And I look at him, let me get a 5-piece with a double fry, and it was just one of those like laughing immediately, right?
That was Hardee's because that was the only thing in the town.
That's right, Hardee's. That's right. But yeah, it was just one of those things.
It was meant to be.
Well, I knew he could then take a joke because if you can't take a joke, I don't think you should be around me because I'm going to be more than likely wittier than you. And if I meet somebody wittier than me, I want to be wittier as well. So like, I'll try to match that energy for energy.
Do you see the head just swell up on the screen?
Yeah.
The hat needs you need to adjust the buttons on that hat.
I have twice.
Yeah, it's good to know who you are, right? Like what your strengths are and what you believe about yourself. And because I know all kinds of beliefs inside of you too that are negative probably and that you fight
100.
with and you try to reframe and so whenever you can find one that you really, everybody has that for sure. Absolutely.
Imposter syndrome or cognitive dissonance, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's like
everybody
you
goes
said,
through it.
the quote that you were saying about "Who do you believe you are?"
Hmm.
or however you
By
said it.
Tosh. Yeah,
Oh,
it's like
powerful. Yeah,
very.
that's some deep work.
Well, when I heard that, I literally came home and I was talking to my wife about it, and it's like, do I believe who I say I am, and do I believe in who I am? And that's where like, okay, it started to flip a switch in my understanding of who I wanted to become. I think that that's what Tosh is
Mm,
really kind of getting to. It's like, what do I want to become? Well, I want to become the most authentic version of myself, where the uniform doesn't dictate my life and or the identity that I have, because a veteran is what I was. It's not who I am.
mm,
So I try to live that purpose. And yes, my job, for a great example, is veteran service organization. I've worked for Wounded Warrior Project for almost 12 years. But at the same point, like, I don't want that to be my only thing, right? I'm proud of it. But I also find myself more prideful in what we're doing as a team. Like whenever I get around James or I talk to James, we send stuff to each other all damn day. This man is on the road constantly, and I'm still sending him shit, like 4 or 5 messages, and then I go through and I'm like, he just likes it all, and I'm like, you didn't even look at it, all right? Because one was a video, and the other, but no, I think again, it's just it's that connection, and it
yeah.
hasn't stopped.
Which you
It
can't
hasn't
find until
stopped.
you're in your authentic self. Like, once you
Right.
find who you truly are and you're comfortable, for the most 80% comfortable with that person, that with who you are, then you start attracting people who are also living in their authenticity, and it's going to be an immediate connection or not, but you can determine that more quickly, right? There's less BS and, courting each other as friends or having to put up with people that aren't for you,
Yeah.
because you just don't have time for that anymore. So you can more
Well, and I
easily
think
meet your people.
Yeah, and I think that there's no honor in suffrage. I think that there is suffering that needs to happen in order to feel honor, right? In order to feel empowered. And that's what this is. It's been a love passion project from the get-go, but at the same point it's also us finding ourselves, because we each bring a unique dynamic to the team. Like nobody is really like, "Oh, you're the leader, this, you're the
Mm-mm.
we don't do that. We don't do like here's our advanced tech guy. Here's the manager of the tech department. We don't have that.
Well, you were
We're a
the
team.
skeptic initially. You were
I
the
am.
debunker.
Yeah. And Brandon was too as well, but James does it too. So like we give James it, shit, but he does it too. But we're all natural skeptics until we go in
Yeah.
and we actually feel it for
Yes.
ourselves.
Did you just say there is no honor in suffrage?
To a point, yeah.
Okay, what, like, you're just over there spitting lines like Buddha. What are you talking about? That's amazing.
Well,
I love that. I always say that there's a difference between pain and suffering, and I try to teach people that you can be in pain, but that doesn't mean you have to suffer. They're two different things.
that's exactly what it means and entails. So again, you don't want to be defined by your suffrage. Be you want to be defined by your honor in that suffrage, right? So it's like, yeah, how did you deal with it? Well, to be honest with you, I dealt with it like shit. I was down for 2 weeks, didn't want to deal with it, but then I pushed through and now I'm here, right? But a lot of people love to stay stuck in that 2 week period that turns into 2 years, then turns into 2 decades, and then turns into regret. And like, oh, okay, I can't be that. Like, I should never have stayed in that mind frame because I was stuck there for damn near a decade. I mean, you can ask my wife. I mean, I was so negative, just absolutely negative about every little thing. I didn't want to be around people. And, it's just, but at the same point, it was her that was like, maybe you should find non-veteran friends because every time we got together, it was always the same thing. It's complaining about the VA, complaining about this, complaining, and every right to do it. I'm not trying to take that away, but if that is going to be your everyday
It
conversation, then we
feeds
need
the
to have
loop.
another conversation.
It feeds the loop. It's a residual haunting of a belief, because that's all we have, our beliefs, our
Hmm.
actions, thoughts, feelings, and behaviors at any given time. You have that to access. You have to access, what is it that I'm thinking about this or believe? What is it that I feel? And what am I going to do about it? And sometimes you shouldn't do anything about it. Sometimes that's where people get into trouble. It's like, "Oh, I have a strong feeling I need to do something about it." That's
Yeah.
probably the last thing you should do sometimes, is do something about your feeling, right? That's where
Right.
addiction comes in, and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, James even brought it up earlier. Like when you go into some of these lives on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or whatever, everybody seems to have the answer.
Yeah.
You know, They don't. They're only attempting to help by saying what they have gone through and what they've experienced, and that's helped them. And then when somebody goes to attempt to try that, it didn't help them, then guess what? They revert back to, well, that didn't do shit for me. Well, it's because again, you didn't go into it with the authenticity of wanting to actually explore and be a part of it. When I went into initially, we were just going to collab because I had Warrior Paranormal and then James had CLP. And it wasn't until like the second after Penhurst and like, yeah, then I became a part of CLP. It was almost like a natural because I'm like, well, because James was like, well, do you want to be a part of it? And I literally go, well, I thought I already was, but okay, yeah, I want to be a part of it. So, but yeah, I mean, again, a brotherhood was born and it wasn't one of a shared experience that was so many years ago. And I hate saying it like that, but now it's a shared experience now. And I don't really foresee it going anywhere as far as like, okay, this is no longer a part of my life. I don't see that at all.
No, I'm stuck with him till the end,
Yeah, very much so.
and he's stuck with me too.
Yep.
Nice.
And that's one thing I think is a beautiful thing too, as far as our friendship. He sends me shit all the time, and I try to watch what I can or read what I can. He gives me shit about his list, his map.
It's extensive.
The man has 500 locations. Do I have time to look at every location? No.
Yeah, he needs to though.
Because I always send him something. He's like, that's on my map already. But as far as growing as a person, I feel like he has definitely motivated me into growing. He's actually got me reading. I read his little short book, which I thought was very beautiful. It made me see a side of him that, we have had some intimate discussions. No, baby oil was not involved, but we had some intimate discussions.
Or do you think? I'm just kidding.
His book definitely showed me a side of him that really, opened up and even had me look within myself. And just, now I'm starting to read his other book he gave me by Marcus Aurelius. And so he's got me into more reading again and just growing as a person, so.
Cool.
It's also likewise too. It's also reciprocated.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't.
Leave it to a veteran to hand out a copy of Marcus Aurelius, by the way. Like you guys are just coded in y'all's DNA, I swear.
Yep. Meditations.
Oh my God.
Because what I love about it is that, he is still dealing with some of the same stuff that we're dealing with as humans today. And, I think that what we take away, because he has a beautiful saying, and that's what I absolutely love about Marcus Aurelius. He goes, in order to learn how to live, you must talk to the dead. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. That's one thing is because he asked like somebody, I want to say it was one of his aides that asked him, it says, where are you going? Is I'm off to study under the wonderful whoever. And they go, why? And he says, well, in order to learn how to live, you must talk to the dead. And most books are written by the dead, the one that are most influential. But I mean, it's also reciprocated, we teach each other new things, and I often say this to a point, it's like, be delusional. Nobody in their right mind has ever been successful and have been normal. So be delusional.
Yes. And pay attention to if things are unfolding, right? Like if things are unfolding, which they have been easily for you guys because it was right. The connection was right and the project is right. And you see that you're in a positive feedback loop. But yeah, Delulu is the Salulu for sure. Like everything I'm doing just caught me like a whirlwind, and it's like I got whiplash from this of how fast it came on, but it just was the right thing. And it had everything to do with exploring the afterlife. So bizarre.
Yeah.
Well, that to his delusional take is, don't want to live with regrets. So whatever we do, we're going to give it 100% and try, whether it's reaching out to people you normally wouldn't reach out to, or we're trying not to stay in a safe, comfortable bubble. We're trying to grow out of that and reach out and stuff like that. And to do that, you got to be delusional sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't keep that same safe mindset, or you're not going to grow. You're not going to get out there with people.
Well, it's so easy for the human mind to just go to anxiety and negativity, and it's probably evolutionary, right? Like getting chased by a saber-toothed tiger every day. It's not like you're going to sit in your cave and be like, man, I did good today. Because then you're going to get pounced on.
Yeah.
But like you have to almost be delusional in order to offset the heavy load of being so just instantly going to the, hyper focusing on the negative so easily. You almost have to be delusional to balance the scales.
Yeah. And well, I think too, the one aspect that kind of like James and I discussed about just like personal growth and things like that, it's I've also grown from this process too. It's not something that was ingrained and, all of a sudden I was grown, right? I mean, we're all growing every single day. I've gotten so many damn Ryan Holiday books and Seneca and all these other books, and it's great. But if you read it, you don't apply it. You just all you did was read some words. You didn't apply it to anything. So that's kind of what James and I were kind of discussing about personal growth. Like he's actually pushing me to try to get back in the gym. I've been like on this whole like, oh, I don't want to do it. I don't, but now I'm just gonna try to, and get back in there and start sort of walking more and doing that because he went back to the gym, for his own personal reasons. But it
Okay.
was just one of those things. It's like, you have to be outside of a comfort zone in order to understand who you want to become and believe in who you say you are.
Love it. And you mentioned too, like to not have any regrets. One thing that can be helpful that I teach people to do is try to think about the good that you were trying to do at the time. Just
Hmm.
just think about the good you were trying to do at the time. The behavior might still not have been good or appropriate or correct or whatever, but there was some kind of good that you were trying to do, keeping your nervous system in check, protecting people around you, whatever it is. You were just trying to not upset the status quo, whatever it was that you were trying to do at the time, just know that that's where you were at
Right.
to help live without regret.
Yeah. And I think just living in general is already difficult. So why make it even more, with negative?
Well, and something you see, especially, and it's with human nature in general. You're always going to have critics. You're always going to have negative Nancy's. You're always going to have people that just are going to bash on you no matter what you're doing, right or wrong. The something The Rock said one time that stuck with me is ignore the noise.
Hmm.
Ignore the noise. Just focus. If you feel it's right in your heart and you want to achieve it, focus on what you need to do to achieve it and ignore the noise.
I love it. My God, you guys are giving such good sound bites for the Haunted Therapist podcast. You
Well,
guys
that's a good
understood
thing.
the assignment.
Well, I mean, just like this, like James and I didn't get home till almost 3 in the morning. He got home about 3 in the morning,
Same.
and
You guys are rocking it. You're doing
this is
good.
just,
I'm
yeah,
almost done with
As
you.
I'm chugging, well, I was chugging coffee.
this is
Yeah.
my fourth cup. It's gone.
I'm on my second. And I
Yeah.
don't have one of your cool mugs. I'm stuck with my Jaws mug. Show your mug off.
Send me
Not
PM
just this mug.
PM me your
Not just-
address.
Yeah. Give us your
Well,
address.
yeah, actually,
Really?
Yeah, we'll
I'll
send
send
you one.
I'll send you.
Oh my God.
We'll send you an EVP mug.
I will exclusively drink out of that on the podcast for sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
a great name too.
Yeah, and
Souls healing souls.
that's basically what it is,
Love
because
it.
even the pillars of the BSO space, it does say mind, body, and soul that we have to heal in order to. Nobody's going to cure PTSD. We can only aid it. You're always going to have it. There's no curing it. There's only living with it, and it's okay. Like it's okay. And I think that that's what we've got to get over that hump of like, don't let this run your life. Let it expel your life, meaning that let it explore forward. I mean, when I go into a haunted location, I'm more aware of my senses in every aspect. I'm on the game.
Especially when it gets around the staircase.
Yeah, that part too. Because me and stairs just.
Oh no.
But yeah, no, I think again, it's just all my senses are going off, and I feel like I'm back in the military, whereas I can literally hone in and yeah, everything.
It's exposure therapy, right?
Very much so.
And the way that you guys are doing it with EVP is like, it gives me a new word, trauma informed paranormal investigation, TM.
Yeah,
Like,
I love it.
that's awesome. It's literally what you're doing. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be possible without these two and the other teammates, right? Bree and ones that actually come out with EVP specifically. Obviously, we love CLP, but with EVP, just I've got to have another female presence there, and Bree is perfect for that because she doesn't take any shit either, and she'll give it right back. So like that's the type of mentality that you need to have with veterans because that's what we're looking for. We want you to snap back at us, right? We want you to like come back and razz on us again. Because if we do it, then you better do it back. Because if not, it's an open target, and I'm going after the jugular. So like, boom. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful dance, and everybody's dancing.
Love it. Dancing to the sound of silence. Who would have thunk it? Silence has a beat.
No, very much.
Yeah, cool. Well, guys, I absolutely loved this interview, and I'm so thrilled to know you now. Like, the way that we're so aligned blows my mind. I'm so glad that you're out there in the world. Thank you for everything that you're doing. David, thank you for your service. James, thank you for starting up CLP and like just living your truths. Like you're both living your truth, and that is the most important thing that we can do.
Oh, 100%. Thanks for having us. Like I said, as soon as I saw your reel, I'm like, I know I've got to talk to her about this.
Awesome. We'll definitely have to meet up again.
Most definitely.
And also, if for anyone out there, you can see a couple episodes we have posted on YouTube at Echoes Veteran Project.
Yes, I'm going to have everything
On YouTube.
listed on
Sweet.
my YouTube. I'll have links to everything. But yeah, why don't you go ahead and before we wrap up completely, like talk a little bit or point somebody in the directions that you want. Like, how does somebody find you that might want to go on an investigation, a veteran or anybody? You have to be in Florida or Georgia or fly there.
Nope.
Or drive there.
No, we actually, so we try to find locations that are closer to the veteran, and all they have to do is show up. So we actually pay for the location. We have all the equipment for them to use. All they have to do is show up with their cell phone. That's it.
Like you would travel somewhere if you had enough veterans in that area to do it?
Yeah, so like right now we're looking into 2 locations up in Buffalo, New York, because I've got 3 veterans that want to do it in New York.
That's where I am.
I know.
Shut up. Come on. We'll be there.
Well,
Just
what do
tell
you
me
think?
when.
Your husband is the number 3rd. Yep.
Thanks
So
for that.
we're working on it. I'm waiting on them to reply, but they're sending it out to the staff to see how they can assist.
Cool. I can't wait to meet you guys in person.
Yeah, likewise. And you're going to join us on this. So that way. So
am I allowed
yes.
to come?
Oh yeah. So that way, because I want you to also see what we're doing and the impact that it has, because again, you almost have to see it. The videos don't do it justice. So you almost have to be there to experience it. Just the vibe itself, how we interact with everybody. It's just you have to be there to see it.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
but yeah, as far as finding us, Echoes Veteran Projects on YouTube, and we have Facebook as well. As far as Cross the Line Paranormal team, we're on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. If you want to see one of our car rides to see just how razzy we can be, that's on Cross the Line Paranormal on YouTube.
It's toned down. It's toned down and cut and edited.
So it would be kicked off YouTube, but it's still pretty hilarious. It's only a 17-minute video, but it's still pretty hilarious. And but yeah, those 2 main channels. TikTok's where we mostly post stuff, and we also do Whiskey and Whispers every Thursday. We try to do around 8:30 to 9 o'clock. We just come on and BS, and we interact with the people in the chat. Sometimes we bring them up and we talk about paranormal, what we're doing, and other shenanigans, and just also same thing, cutting jokes on each other and just have a good time every week, just to I guess vent that stress of the work week.
Yeah.
Since we live so far from each other, so we started doing this.
Yeah, it's like a paranormal interwebs water cooler kind of thing. I love it. Good for you.
That's better words to put it to than what we would typically say. So we appreciate that analogy.
Well, cool. I'll see you guys soon. I know I will.
Yeah.
So, whether we meet up like this or in person, whichever comes first, I really appreciate your time today, guys.
No, we appreciate you. Yes. Thank you again for having us.
In PM, David, your address.
I will. That way we can, thank you. I can't wait for my mug.
Get you a cup.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
We definitely enjoyed it. Thank you for having us.
Bye now.